Welcome, Vivek and Rati. I'm really pleased to welcome two people who represent a very important issue, internal communications and ethics, to this Insight PR Moment web series. Welcome, Vivek and Rati.
Thank you, Parul. Thank you for
Thank you,
having
Parul.
me.
Thank you, Parul.
Vivek, welcome. As we know, Vivek is the head of internal communications at Capgemini, and Rati Chaudhary has a very interesting role. She is group communications ethics head at Capgemini India. So I'm very, very excited to be able to focus on this really important topic. Coming to you, Vivek, first, what has been your experience like in the last 6 months? If you could just set the focus and tone for this discussion by sharing what's been your experience like handling communications during a pandemic?
I think we had pretty much the same sort of challenges that everyone went through, Parul. The entire COVID situation, it just started all of a sudden, and it escalated from a trickle into a deluge within a space of 3 4 days. And we had a pretty big challenge to ensure that we are presenting an accurate picture before our 120,000 colleagues, our clients, our global stakeholders, our vendors, partners, suppliers, local bodies, industry bodies. So there was a whole lot of universe of people that we were reaching out to. Um, this was the first challenge because there were multiple information sources. We were getting something from the government, we were getting something picked up from the news channels. There were also informal networks that were in place. So, we had to ensure that we had to verify and validate everything, every piece of information before we share it with our 120,000 colleagues. Um, the other big challenge, which we have faced in the past too, but not to such a level, was that we realized that our employees are spread in 12 cities across 10 different states, and each of these states was following a slightly different trajectory in terms of what restrictions are in place, and what what are the health protocols to follow during this time. So we have to ensure that we are presenting the right information to the right set of employees, which is valid for their state. So it was quite a fluid situation to begin with. Fortunately, now we are in a situation where the country has started reopening, and the lockdown restrictions have been eased. But while we were in the thick of the situation, we had to assemble a team of cross-location leaders, uh, and we had asked these leaders to figure out what is exactly the information coming in from their respective cities and respective states. And we also ensured that they are responsible for uh, sending out this communication to their respective city audiences. So it was pretty difficult, but I think fortunately all of that is behind us now.
I think it's what you said about cross communication, city leaders is very interesting because it just shows there's a deepening of the communication bench strength in a way, which probably would not have happened otherwise. Could you shed some more
Correct.
light on that?
Yeah, so I think in a communication setup, typically, we know we have internal communications, we have external communications, and no prizes for guessing that external communications, of course, the more glamorous piece out there. Uh, Sometimes, you feel that internal communication doesn't really receive the same priority, but especially in situation like this, where the situation completely turned upside down within a space of 2 3 days, literally overnight. Actually, internal communications became very very relevant in the situation because of the volume and the scale of change management that the organizations had to go through. It was like you were working in a certain format, and there was a normal way of working, and suddenly the whole model changed overnight. So how do you ensure that your employees stay communicated? How do you ensure that your employees know what they're supposed to do in this scenario? So internal communications had to be on the top of its game, and change management especially is one area where internal communications always plays the role of a sheet anchor. So yes, I think the COVID situation was a godsend opportunity for all internal communications folks all across the globe.
Thank you, Vivek. With that, I'll go over to Rati for her opening remarks. Rati, if internal communications is kind of the stepchild of communications, and ethics seems even further down the ladder in some ways. Although it's something which every company does they have a formal code. They speak a lot about it, but the impression always is that It's something to talk about, but hard to implement. Given that scenario and given what has happened with the pandemic and the increased scrutiny on companies, how would you describe your role?
Okay. Firstly, thank you, Parul, for inviting me for this podcast. Before I talk about how my role has been impacted post-COVID, I would like to talk about my role a little bit so that everyone understands. So at Capgemini, we have ethics as a central support function, and I take care of it globally, the communications part of it. In ethics at Capgemini, values, as anywhere else, values play a major role in ethics, and our values have been same since our inspection, but yet very, very relevant in current times. So our comms and campaigns that we have been running have pretty much continued to draw on this strength, but our channels have changed as per the need. Our focus is now more on digital channels, obviously, than on the physical ones. Also, Parul, I feel in the current context, people and people-related issues have become more important. So our colleagues globally have become more receptive towards these topics like values and ethics. And most importantly, we are noticing the tone changing at all levels of leadership. Which is really, really good for us and the company and ethics as a whole as a function.
I think that's really good to know because finally ethics can only it can only be set by the leadership. At end of the day, it doesn't happen if the leadership doesn't focus on it. Coming back to Vivek, what would you say? You mentioned the sheer scale of internal communications, 120,000 worker employees spread over multiple cities. What was that like? Did you what was your main learning when you have to communicate at that scale and so regularly?
So as I said, this was not a first time challenge we were facing. Of course, we have been in these situations before as well, but the scale was mind-boggling this time because it was over a period of a couple of days. Um, but if you look at just the overall problem of employees being in a certain number of cities across different locations, the problems manifest themselves differently in different locations, right? In some places, for example, the local bus services was stopped. In other states it was working, right? So we had to then figure out in each city, in each state, how our employees are going to be able to commute to work in case they have to come to work. In case in case certain restrictions have been put in place, how are they going to affect the employees? And does it? So within 2-3 days, we had stopped our work from office, and we had ensured that 95-97% employees are working from home within a space of 2-3 days after I think the March 22nd announcement is I think when it came in. But there were specific situations because there were a lot of employees who were working in a different location, but they had gone home on a vacation to other location. How do they come back? How do we ensure that we can support them in the situation where they are? Can we provide them laptops where they are currently? Can we give them the internet bandwidth? Can we provide them some kind of support so that they can go to the nearest office, pick up hardware for themselves, and then go back to their homes and work from there? So the whole situation was manifesting itself differently in different cities, and we had to ensure that our network was strong enough to reach out to each city's leadership, each city's IT team, each city's facilities administration team, to ensure that they are supporting their employees in the very best possible way. So it was a big challenge initially the first 15 days, I think, and hats off to the teams who worked behind the scenes to make it possible because uh, 97% of 120,000 is a mind-boggling number, right? And we ensured that all those people could work, could deliver their customer deliverables. We had no escalation. We had no drop in our customer deliveries, and in fact, there were a lot of customers who wrote back to us, commending the whole effort that Capgemini put in, and also the personal passion that our employees brought in the middle of all this situation, right? I mean, you have to figure out where you'll get your groceries from. You have to figure out how you'll manage the education of your children. But in the middle of all that, employees were going above and beyond to ensure that the client commitments are not suffering. So it was a mind-boggling effort.
Before I come to Rati, would you be able to share, Vivek, any specific campaign which you ran during this time? It would be nice to for our viewers to hear about any campaign or specific approach that you took.
Yeah, sure. Actually, we ran many campaigns. We ran campaigns for employee awareness. We ran a few for employee engagement. We ran some for even for the purposes of encouraging employees, giving them the hope and the succor, and also for employee recognition. So I think I mentioned earlier that a lot of clients wrote back. So uh, all these commendations from clients were coming in to the respective business leaders, to the account managers, but that's where they were staying. So we reached out to all the BU heads, we reached out to all the account leaders, and we asked them, please share with us all the client commendations that you have received. And we created a platform where employees who were doing fantastic work were recognized in a public forum. And that's a campaign we ran called Meet the Gems of Capgemini. There was another campaign which I mentioned called for employee engagement, which was called Big Boss, and this was literally like how you are confined in your own homes with a set of people which happen to be your family members, of course. But how do you live those days out? How do you live those weeks out? And what are the things that you're doing at home to keep yourself alive and kicking, right? So employees were asked to share videos, to share examples of how they're picking up their hobbies, how they are spending their time. Then there was another campaign we ran called Lockdown Diaries, wherein we requested employees to share with us different things that they are doing during this pandemic, because we all know the physical aspects of the entire situation, but there's also a very strong psychological impact that it had on people. So how are people coping up with all that, right? So what are the coping mechanisms that other people have used? So if I have a certain problem, and if I can see how other people are managing that, then perhaps I can cope myself better too. So there was another campaign we ran for that. And lastly, we also did something called as Living the New Normal, which was purely information, but letting people know that now, because of COVID, we all will be living in a new situation for a very long time, and just to ensure that they know the rules of the game now. So, for example, shopping for groceries was very easy earlier, right? You get into your car, you load up certain bags, you go to the nearest store, go to the aisles, pick up stuff, go to the payment counter, and then you come back, right? It was very easy. But now it's going to be difficult because you won't be able to do the same things. You won't be able to go out in your car because there's a lockdown. You won't be able to stand in an aisle with so many people around you. It would be a crowded place. You won't be able to do the normal payment at the counter, right? So we created a complete awareness series on how you will live out these simple situations going forward, like shopping for groceries, going to a doctor, letting your kids play in the park, caring for elderly, and traveling in a public transport. How do you ensure that you're taking the necessary amount of precautions to be able to do all those things? So that was also something which was very widely appreciated by employees, because it's just told them that how you can be safe while going about doing all those things.
Thank you, Vivek. I'm going to come back to you and ask you more about that. Rati, what kind of ethics communication did you do during the pandemic? I would really be interested to know more about that.
Sure. So, as I said, our topics of communications were chosen based on their relevance to the current pandemic situation to help keep our people positive and supported and safe. Also, our choice of channels has changed significantly, Parul. We are now using digital channels a lot more than physical channels, as I said. So one of the great benefits of working for an IT company is that we have a lot of these resources that we can tap, and we can reach out to people and connect.
So, could you elaborate a bit more on what kind of campaigns that were run? Some details would be really helpful to the extent that you are able to share.
Sure. So, see, we have, as I said, there are no specific campaigns that we run during this time, but for our overall function, we have a lot of campaigns and newsletters and trainings and surveys that we run throughout the year. For 8 years in a row, we have been awarded World's Most Ethical Company by Ethisphere. So each year, the expectation increases, and we're continuously working to keep our workplace ethical and employee friendly. So although the campaigns did not drastically change because it's a function, and campaigns, we decide campaigns and according to the function and how it's impacting everyone, but we did change the tone. We did change, kept the topics very relevant and timely to today's times, and the mode of channels has changed quite a bit.
Could you share some of the topics that you said were relevant, and how do you see the ethics function evolving ahead?
See, our values were defined by our founder, and they continue to guide our behavior and actions in all areas of business, right? So, sorry, can you please repeat your question?
Sure. Sorry. You said that some of the topics which you picked during ethical communication were more relevant. So, if you could share some of that, and also how do you see the ethics role evolving post-pandemic? How do you see companies giving greater importance to this role?
Sure.
I mean, I'm not talking about your role specifically, but the ethics function, so to speak.
See, the main thing, as I said, that has emerged in today's context is the importance of working together to keep people safe, well, and happy. So team spirit has evolved quite a bit. So that is a topic that we are tapping on, quite a lot nowadays. Trust, which is one of our core values, is proving to be fundamental for applying ethics in a, working from home workplace scenario. So people are turning to values for strength and inspiration. Also, Parul, we're moving, I believe, and it is, I hope you agree that people are moving from times where people wanted to do challenging work to doing work that is more meaningful. So, so our campaigns have become more where, managers have talk. It's more manager centric, how they can talk to employees, what are the topics that they can discuss, which are more relevant topics now, so values and ethics, I believe will only become more important going forward.
I think that's a very important point, the shift to meaningful work. That's a very important emphasis. Coming back to Vivek, do you see that like you mentioned, that internal comms is a function which earlier did not get the kind of attention it deserved, and you also you talked about how you literally walk the employees through a how to shop and different aspects of life. In a way, do you see that as a new trend where employees increasingly look not to the government, not to their other environment, but to the workplace for information like this?
So I think looking from an employee's point of view, there will be multiple channels multiple sources from where they'll get the information, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, if you look at the news that comes out on electronic media, or there are a lot of news which comes out separately on online media. Plus, you have the added layer of social media these days, which pushes out a lot of information, and just too much of information overload which is happening all around us, right? And it's not always possible for somebody to make sense out of all that noise that's created. So what we thought, it's our moral responsibility, because we are part of internal communications, right? The employees look at us as the first credible source of information if they have to find something within the organization, right? And because we have that credibility, because we have that trust which has been built over a period of time, we thought it should be also our responsibility to help them navigate through this difficult time. And while you are free to look at what the TV channels are telling you, we are presenting information which is consumable, which is relevant to you, which is not something which you cannot apply directly in your work or in your home, right? So if you have to go for example, if you have to go for a COVID test, how do you do that? Which is the nearest center to you? Do you require a doctor's prescription? Do you can you just walk in, or do you need a permission? Do you need to have certain symptoms, right? So all those information is present, and it is there in multiple formats. But it's our responsibility to ensure that if employees have those kind of questions or doubts in mind, we should present to them in as lucid and as simple terms as possible. And of course, we also tell them that this is not a professional advice. Information changes overnight, right? I think in the initial days of the pandemic, every 2 days there were new notifications which are coming out. The government, central government was saying something, the state government was saying something else, and it was too difficult to make even a proper sense out of what's really going on around you. So because the information was changing so fast, we have to also tell them that you keep your eyes and ears open, but in case you are still in doubt, here's your credible information which then you can use, and feel free to refer to other sources as well.
Thank you, Vivek. I'm going to come to closing remarks now. Rati, I'd like to close with you first. What is the one takeaway that you've had during the pandemic about yourself and about work?
About myself, it's definitely that that work. It's do more meaningful work. It's if you're talking personally, then there are a lot of learnings. It has definitely, if I connect it with my work, then it definitely feels that things that were more meaningful now have become more important. I'm looking for things that value for life has become more important, value for people have become more important, and that is a situation that we are all moving towards, right, where people, safety, health, just respect, mutual respect, all these things have become more important. My work, which is related to ethics, is so relevant in today's time. I've joined just 2 months ago, but I couldn't be at a better place and doing more meaningful job, than this. And so I'm very, very glad to be a part of this, and in a times like this.
Thank you, Riti. Vivek, what about you? The one thing you've learned about yourself and about your work?
So I think we can all agree that working from home for an extended duration like this is not an easy thing to do. There's just suddenly so much that comes on your plate, in terms of office work, in terms of home chores, caring for children or elderly at home, and suddenly you realize you're fighting one fire after the another, right? The day never stops, and they never ends. And you realize you're in a soup when you start diapering the laptop and charging the baby. Yeah? So that's something which I learned the hard way in the first 1 or 2 weeks, because I had always been working from home for a couple of days off and on, but not for such a long period of time. So it was very difficult initially to get used to it, of course. As far as work is concerned, we can of course work from home, but there are certain nuances which come into play. When you're in office, you can always pick up a little bit of feedback, a little bit of a pulse from employees on how the communication is doing, how some of the programs are doing, right? And now, because you're working from home, you certainly cannot benefit anymore from that kind of informal feedback which comes from employees, right? So those soft touch points which were always there when you can talk to people around you, those suddenly go missing. And I think there are big piece in at least in my line of work. And to be honest, I don't think I realized it earlier, but now I miss it a lot, because you can suddenly do so much more better if you hear back from your employees. You get a constant feedback that this is working, this is not working. So that was another thing which I learned. And finally, I think the most important thing that I learned was that you need to have a very strong support system back at home, which enables you to break yourself from all the other noise that is happening around you, and just focus on your work for that dedicated couple of hours, right? If you can just even pull in those 2 hours a day on work, you accomplish a lot. Thankfully, as I said, I had been working from home for a day or two off and on. So for me, more of that support system was already existing in place. But I can imagine how difficult it must have been for people who had never done this, and it would have been a nightmare for them. So yeah, I mean, support system was a very important thing for me to have.
So thank you, both of you. My own takeaway from this is that communication bench strength has really increased, along with the importance of internal comms and ethics, and more meaningful work matters much more. Thank you all. It's been a pleasure to have you and listen to this podcast. And I'll try not to charge the baby and diaper the laptop. That's also my big takeaway. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us.
Thank you, Parul. Thank you, Rati.
Parul.
Nice talking
Thank
to you
you.
both. Thank you.
Thank you.